Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing the Synastry chart between Diddy Combs and Cassie Ventura. I've had quite a few requests, so I'm going to get right into this. Her Jupiter conjuncts his Philomela and North Node, 0 degrees. Now, in his natal chart, Philomela is conjuncting his North Node. And whatever conjuncts your North Node in your natal chart, this means that this will be one of the themes in your life. And people will remember you by this. Philomela in Greek mythology was raped and tortured and held captive and abused, and her tongue was cut out so she couldn't talk to other people and tell them what had happened to her. So since Cassie's Jupiter is conjunct his Philomela, this exacerbated these energies and came to be in her life because she said that she was raped and abused, and it's just awful. There's so many red flags in this Synastry chart that if I had done this chart for her when she got together with him, I would have said, you really should pack your bags and move out of the country. Now, his Aletko and Chaos conjuncts her North Node. So the basic theme of the relationship for her was his desire to punish her, and there was so much chaos involved between the two of them. Now, Aletko is one of the three Furies, and in Greek mythology, the three Furies, they would travel around in relentless pursuit of those that had disobeyed the gods, either through breaking oaths or committing murder in the family. So in this case, this energy that he brought to her, which was really the basic theme for her, was an unceasing relentless of chaos and anger and the desire to punish. Terrible. There's so much more as well, and I'm really, I've seen a lot of horrific charts, and this definitely tops the list. Her Mars conjuncts his Zeus, 3 degrees, and that's a cheating asteroid. So obviously, to me, he definitely had other women while they were together. But this is the least of the problems that she had. Her Mercury, Lucretia, Proserpina, conjuncts his Pan, 0 degrees. Mercury is a communication planet, and there's talking. So her Mercury is holding hands with Lucretia, and that has to do with rape and also blackmail. And Proserpina is also here, and Proserpina was the victim of Hades and was dragged to the underworld. She was the unwilling bride, and she was raped and tortured by Hades. Now, all of this is conjuncting his Pan at 0 degrees, and Pan has to do with drunken debauchery and music. So what is she blackmailing him about? Because he claims that's what it was. And this is interesting because, yes, in the 35-page letter the lawsuit that went to court, she claims about the rape and abuse. But I'm going to get to what I think else is going on here, because I really believe that she knows more than what she's telling. There's something else going on here, nefarious things. And maybe that has to do with his accusation of her blackmailing him. And it has to do with the music industry as well. Now, his Mercury, Ixion, Mira, conjuncts her Rufus. Very interesting. Here we go. Mercury, in his natal chart, is conjuncting the asteroid Ixion. And Ixion has to do with, traditionally, the delineation is murder. And on the mild side, it could mean just being unlawful, going against the norms of society. And that's another thing. He had the production company, Bad Boy Entertainment, right there. I mean, I would not want to get involved with anybody that set up a company called Bad Boy Entertainment. Who wants to be involved in that kind of energy? So going back to his Mercury conjuncting his Ixion, it also conjuncts his Mira. And Mira has to do with sexual activities that go against the norm of society, such as sex trafficking, orgies, and it can also mean other kinds of sexual, like I said, activities that just are not considered normal, like incest or that sort of thing. So all of this conjuncting her Rufus, which has to do with drugs, he kept her trapped in a prison through the use of drugs and sex trafficking, and the Ixion can come into play. He may have said to her, if you don't do what I say, and if you don't go along with me, I will just shut you up permanently. And I'm being mild about it because I just told you what the energies of Ixion represent. And that's just what I think. Now, going back to his natal chart, let's just forget her for a second, because his Mercury, like I said, is conjuncting Ixion, and that has to do with talking. So he may have said to someone, I don't want this person around anymore. I don't think that they should be alive, or he worked behind the scenes. And in the music industry, there are people involved. Tupac, he claims that he's not, he claims he had nothing to do with that. And there was another rapper that also died a year ago. What's his name? Takeoff. Everybody in the music industry is connected in some way, shape, or form. So I think he has blood on his hands. And also with possibly Kim Porter. They said that she died of pneumonia, but I think that Cassie knows more, like I said, than what she's saying. But he did keep her trapped with drugs and through the rape, the abuse, and the torture. And this chart is telling me this story very clearly. Also, what else do I have? His ballbuster conjuncts her sun, 1 degree. The sun is a very important luminary in a compatibility chart, and ballbuster has to do with not being nice, being critical, ball busting, that sort of thing. With all the rest of these aspects, that's pretty mild, and that's sad because that's, to me, is a red flag. I wouldn't want anybody's negative asteroids or fixed stars conjuncting my sun. Her Lachesis conjuncts his Lilith, 0 degrees. And Lilith has to do with raw sexuality, and Lachesis is a death marker. So to me, this signifies that after a while, she didn't want to have sex with him anymore and was like, there's no way, because there was a split of some sort. And he may have threatened her, and he forced her to have sex with other men, and then he filmed it. So this is why that was going on, because of Lachesis conjuncting his Lilith. And the fixed star Procyon is also conjuncting his Lilith and his Procyon. So in this mix, that fixed star has to do with easily angered and having a bad temper. And also that fixed star also has to do with sudden fame and sudden violence and a rise in your career, and then all of a sudden there's a fall, and that's what's happening now. And since her Lachesis is conjuncting his Procyon as well, she brought this out. She's the one that started the ball rolling for his ultimate demise. His Mars conjuncts her Chryseis, 3 degrees, and Mars is a war planet. And conjuncting her Chryseis, that has to do with vengeance and retribution. And it's playing out now. Her Pholus conjuncts his Hades, 0 degrees. I've talked about Hades, the god of the underworld, this hellish existence where he dragged Proserpina into and tortured her and with rape and abuse. Since her Pholus is conjuncting his Hades at 0 degrees, this is an explosion of evilness and torture and just horrific, it's very disturbing to me. So a very horrific existence for her life when she was with him. In her natal chart, her sun conjuncts the asteroid Antiope by 0 degrees, and this has to do with being gang raped by men. So this would coincide as well with the rest of their synastry chart. The other thing I wanted to mention is that there's a possibility that they had a sun-moon conjunction, and I'm bringing that up because everyone always says, "Oh, they have sun-moon conjunction. It's like a almost can be like a soulmate or a best friends aspect." But I've said before that I think that the sun conjuncting moon is overrated, and they also have some other really good placements in the planetary department. So if you neglected to look at the asteroids, you wouldn't see everything that this chart is telling me. And also, there is a couple of planetary aspects that go along with the rest of this horrific situation. And one of those is his Mars is squaring her Pluto, 5 degrees. And that has to do with violence. I've seen that play out many times before. So that's all I have, and I hope you enjoyed this interpretation, and I will be back soon with more. So hit the subscribe button to stay in the loop. Have a nice day.